Hi, Brent. I am looking over my notes. You talked about diversity. I talked about the many variations as it applies to students and staff, both. And I thought that was interesting because most people just kind of classified it as a minority. And really, diversity applies to talents and individualities that make us all diverse. So I thought you did a good job of trying to capture that. And you were the only person that really talked about the fact that diversity applies to teachers, it applies to students, it applies to staff, everybody, bus drivers. I mean, you have to look at diversity, what talents everybody brings. And then you also talked about the fact that the minority and being gay. You talked about, you see, actions. I like this. I actually wrote this down. Actions speak louder than words. And I think that you're correct in the sense that how we treat people, how we respond to people, and how we interact, all of that speaks very loud. And I'm sure from your perspective, and I know as a female, I very much have to kind of size up my situation before I take any action. I can't just walk in because I am a female and start taking charge of something because it may offend some males. And then I have to deal with that. So I normally have to kind of size up and see how people are reacting to me, and then I can take action. I can have a plan in place if I want to lead. And I think that we have to be comfortable acknowledging that that exists, that that is a process that's in place for us. I thought you pulled a really great article about white figures. There was one of your colleagues also pulled that same article that talked about the prominence of white faculty, whether it's teachers and even in higher ed. And we actually have to at some point to hire minorities in order to develop a diverse audience, but we don't always follow through on it like we should. And then sometimes we don't have that diverse population. We don't have a minority population to pull from. So all of that kind of plays into it. And in the article, you were talking about that if you have a group of minority students, the staff isn't going to reflect or mirror the minority-ness of the students. I will tell you, in the internships, it's quite fascinating because I look at that all the time. And I was looking at the principals, and I noticed that there's quite a bit of diversity in principals as far as minorities. There's a lot more women than I anticipated, and there's black men and black women. I've only had, I think, one Hispanic administrator or aspiring administrator, but that's part of it, is looking to see if we're seeing those changes that are significant. I do know that I have, right now on the faculty at UNCW, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. In the Ed Leadership Department, we have 4 openly gay individuals, like 3 males and 1 female. We hired 2 of them just in the past year. So we are developing that diversity as far as having at least someone to kind of relate to. And we've looked at that as far as having that social justice part of it covered in all aspects of ed leadership, whether it's higher ed, whether it's MSA, CIS. We now have all 3 of those programs covered. And covered probably doesn't sound right, but just having someone to represent a minority. So I am feeling better about it. The transgender students must belong to be able to talk to others about their concerns. I thought that was good. And I will tell you that one of your colleagues, I thought, had an incredible plan of how to deal with this. What they suggested was, their idea was that you would have a leadership team, and the leadership team then would look at it from several different aspects. They would first identify what the needs of the student was to make that student comfortable. Second, they would look at what services they had available. And third, they would identify the climate that was necessary in order to have an overall culture that was accepting. In other words, just because you do what the student needs and you have the services, you could have an onslaught of other students or parents that could bully or cause a lot of problems. So you have to cover all of those areas. And I thought the student that talked about that, the intern, did an incredible job of just saying this is something that belongs to a leadership team. And I thought they did a good job with that. Everything else looked great. You're great at public speaking. You're getting very comfortable in front of the video. You're articulate. You speak well. Background good. Good lighting. It was all great. I thought you did a great job. Thanks. Take care. Have a good day.